What is correct, and everyone? This is RunLZ coming back at you with some Honkai Star Rail, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Wind and how they got out with the meta. Like I said, I want to try and keep these with like, when I put the count at the end, I feel like I either want to be talking about characters that are irreplaceable in their teams, or that are just like, you know, unskippable during this version cycle, or characters that are just main DPSs that got out pretty good. But real quick, do not forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and let us get right into it. So alphabetically, we are going to talk about Anaxa first. I mean, it's been pretty obvious at this rate. If you can either rock him as a sub DPS for Madame Herta, or you can rock him as the carry. If you rock him as the carry, he might be one of the most universal characters in this entire game, because I'm just gonna be real. There's not a situation that you can have Anaxa be useless. Maybe he might not be optimal in there, but you're not gonna have a situation where he's going to be like bad, you know? He just has too much going for him. It's the fact that on his skill or on his basic, he can infuse weaknesses at some point during the fight, unless for some reason that they have implant weakness immunity, which, you know, maybe they can do at some point. I hope they don't though, because weakness implants are so useful in this game. They help cover some problems that the characters can have otherwise, right? Dude, at some point during the fight, right, they're gonna be wind weak because he infuses every single weakness into the enemy as part of his, you know, cycle, right? So at some point they're gonna be weak to this guy, and he can deal toughness damage. I don't see how you can ever say that's a bad thing, because like you might be toughness break immune for a moment, but you're never gonna be Anaxa immune, because he's gonna inflict the weaknesses whether you like it or not, you know, unless they figure out a way to stop that from happening. But some way or another, he's gonna get the weaknesses in there, you know. And another thing, if you have him as the carry, he gets an extra 140% crit damage, so that just makes him even stronger as a carry. Again, you can be toughness, you know, immune, toughness break immune, but you're never going to be an Anaxa immune unless they change something with how the bosses work. But if they do that, there's bigger problems to talk about, you know. He's just so universal, it's actually crazy. Like, let's say there's a situation that your Madame Herta doesn't work the best in because it's a blast and it's not AoE, right? Let's say you have the best team for Madame Herta and you have an Anaxa on there, and Herta doesn't work out that well. Oh, it's chill, dude. Just take off whatever you had for, you know, Herta's DPS relics. Just put them on an Anaxa. You're good, dude. Especially with the supports, right? You can rock a Sunday and Cerydra, and he's just gonna do you so well. He's probably one of the best investments you can make in this game at this point, if you haven't already. His banner's not here anymore, obviously. It was here a while back, but just the fact that he's so universal just makes him so good, man. Especially because his skill is bounce based, right? So he's obviously best in low enemy count situations, because each ricochet that he does, it inflicts a weakness. So if you can keep it to a lower enemy count, he prefers it. But even then, it's like he's still getting what he wants done eventually. It's just might not be as fast as you want it, but he'll get the job done regardless, you know. I love Anaxa. He was good in the story too, so that helps. Black Swan's next. That would be Nihility. I mean, she's useful in dot, you know. Like, she's good as a third dot teammate. That's helpful. That said, though, she is the most replaceable in her team, because it's Hyacine, Kafka, and Black Swan is, you know, your 3-dot characters. She's good. I think we're gonna try and pull her because I like her. Also, she's kind of a baddie, you know. I'm not gonna lie, she's kind of a baddie. I mess with that, you know. But ignoring that, right? She's far from useless. She's very useful. It's just whether or not it's merited for you to pick her up or not, because you can there's like two situations I see with Dot, right? You can have Hyacine, Kafka, and a buffer, maybe like Tribi, or someone else, maybe like RMC, you know, a buffer for the entire team. Or you can run the core of Hyacine, Kafka, and then Black Swan right here. So there's some options. She's the most replaceable though, which is a little bit unfortunate. But she, you know, they could easily buff her and then she becomes the best for the Dot core again, you know. But as it stands right now, she is the most replaceable. But that doesn't mean she's useless. That just means that she's no longer the best possible option in every situation. That said, I mean, you know, she's a Dot character. If you want to rock Dot, she's gonna be a easy slot in, you know? If you already got her too, especially doubly so. But she just, I don't know, she's useful. You're not gonna be doing yourself bad by picking her up, but it's just probably better to pick up a Tribi or someone else for Dot instead. But if you like Black Swan, go for Black Swan, you know? Okay, now we have Blade. I mean, he got buffed in 3.4, I believe it was, or 3.5, whichever one it was, whichever patch. He probably got off like the second best after Kafka, to be honest. Like, he got significant buffs. We got him E1 for free, and you know, he carried our game, early game, and you know, I gotta give him his respect for that. Considering how easy he is to build as well, like he got off pretty well, honestly. You can slot him into a lot of teams. There's a more free-to-play option of the Castries team with Blade as a sub DPS. I mean, is it the best thing ever? No, but again, he's an option. He's not inherently free-to-play in the same way that the other 50/50 lost characters are, because you have to get, you know, you have to add him to the pool. He's not there by default, but you can still get him, and he's a good option. You can rock as a main DPS as well, but considering that he got significant buffs, I mean, he's a good option. You're not gonna go wrong by trying to use him, you know. Oh, now we have Bronya. That's funny. We have 3 characters that are wind that start with B in their name. I think that's pretty funny. I mean, yeah, Bronya's still relevant, you know. She might not be your first pick, but she's going to be there's a good chance you're going to find use with her, right? Let's say you don't use her on A or B team, but you're playing an Omni Arbitration. She can go on the C team, and she's a support, and she has action advance of 100%, and since she's a 50/50 lost character, you can have multiple Eidolons of her available to you. I do think that does matter. Yet again, with the options in this game, I mean, ignoring the fact that I think Bronya is attractive or whatever, she's still useful, right? You can find ways to use her, which is important. Plus, since she's Harmony, you can put her with DDD. I mean, maybe you don't do that, but the option is there if you do want to do it. Good support, kind of in the similar spot to Tingyun, where she's not going to be the best possible character you can select for supports, but she's going to be there regardless, and she's going to be a good boon for you to use. Now we have Cerydra. I mean, this can change very quickly, right? But Cerydra is best in slot for Phynon and Anaxa. So if you have both of them, or one of them, Cerydra becomes a worthy investment. She mainly wants to be put with characters that skill spam, so unless there are characters that skill spam on the same level as those two in the future, then Cerydra becomes more and more valid to pick up. But even if you don't do that and you only pick her up for Anaxa or Phynon, you're going to be doing yourself a solid, and she'll be treating you well. Especially with the Phynon double meteor, bro, that's ridiculous, man. Because she gets to copy a skill of whatever character you have selected with her. I think it's called military merit, right? Yeah, military merit. And she only gets stronger with skill spammers in the future. Not much else to say about her. She's a good support, but she's a little niche. But if you have said character, she's gonna be really good to pick up. Now we have original Heng. I mean, he's he's there. You could use him. He's not good anymore, but you know, he's a launch character. He's, well, I think he's what, the first character you get in this game, I think, technically. So expecting him to be good in today's meta is kind of crazy work, but I mean, maybe you can find a spot to use him. Yeah, I don't know. Probably not, but maybe if you have crazy enough stuff for him going on, maybe for a specific wind week boss, you might be able to use him. You are not zero cycling though, so you know, I don't know if it's so worth it, but you could try. I don't know. I mean, he's a launch character. What do you want from him, you know? Feixiao, on the other hand, I mean, she's probably, was she at one point, was she a version 1 character or version 2? Probably version 1, right? Because she was in the Zhansho, or the Lofu rather. I think she is a version 1 character. So considering that she's lasted this long, and she's still arguably the best single target that's not Archer, like, I think that means something, you know? You might need Eidolons at this point though, because she is old. I don't know if that's the case though, because I mean, we don't have her yet. I can't speak to my own experience with her because I don't have her yet. But she is still perfectly viable as a single target option. Like, if you don't have your free Archer for whatever reason, or you don't have your Sparkle, Feixiao's going to be a good option. I guess another thing is Feixiao is probably has a better free-to-play option for her team as opposed to Archer, because Archer pretty much, he doesn't require having a Sparkle, but boy howdy does he level up with her on the team. So I don't think it's the same reliance with her and like Topaz or her and Mose or her and March, but you have more options for her teams, so that does, you know, matter. We haven't seen single target content in a little bit, but we'll eventually get there again, you know? It's kind of weird how much this game tends to focus around AoE or blast content, at least so far. I don't know if this is a normal thing, you guys can tell me, but I feel like there should have been a few more single target fights over these patches, but there kind of just haven't been. But Feixiao certainly, I would say, is still meta relevant. Huohuo is next. I mean, she does something unique that no other healer does. She gives, her ult gives, where is it? Yeah, right here. Her ult regenerates energy for every single party member. So, not any other character in this game that is a healer can do that, at least at this point. No other one can regenerate energy like that for the entire party. So that makes her unique. And in the vein with that, I mean, but at least before Dan Hong came out, right, for preservation, Huohuo had a slot in any team that needed energy. Specifically, I remember her being best in slot with Saber right here. Especially because they're both wind, right? So she can help with the basic attacks with the toughness breaking and stuff like that. But even, like, I mean, you don't have as much reason to use her anymore with Dan Hong. But you can still use her with Saber, so that's an option. It's not even like you have to have Saber with Dan Hong either. You can find other sustains to work with her. That said, I think Dan Hong's probably her best one because you can rock Sunday with her, all that business, but Huohuo is a good option. I don't think you're going to be done wrong by picking her up. That said, now that we have Dan Hong, there's not as much reason to spec into her anymore. Especially with characters like freaking Hyacine, man. Like, it's ridiculous, this character. Like, Hyacine and Dan Hong, like, you don't, unless you're doing Alarming Arbitration, you don't really need a third healer, ever. You know, also you have Gallagher for your third option. So, you need Huohuo at this point in the game? I'm gonna say no. But you're not gonna be done wrong if you decide to pick her up because you like her. Now we get to talk about Hyacine. Oh, where do I start, man? She's just ridiculous overall. Like, I don't know what they were thinking with this character, bro. It's absurd. Obviously, it's hard to get her 200 speed threshold without her cone, but you know, if you get Hyacine, you should get her cone. It's ridiculous, man. You get above 200% speed or 200 speed, and then you get extra HP, and then you get extra healing. Like, dude, that's strong, man. I don't know how you're gonna get 400 speed, by the way. I don't even know if that's possible. But as long as you hit that 200 speed threshold, you'll be just fine. And then there's the fact that Hyacine heals, cleanses debuffs with her skill. Ults gets you the same kind of thing with, what's her name, Bailu? Where if you get hit, it heals you a little bit. So it's like constant healing. It might not be a lot, but it's coming in constantly. Like, you know, it's not like this tick healing when you get hit is not as much as, at least to my, I haven't noticed it be as high as like a normal skill healing for Hyacine, but you know, extra healing when you're getting hit means that you're not going to be taking as much damage, or you can eat more damage because, you know, you get hit by 2000, heal for like, I don't know, 700, right? All of a sudden you didn't take 2000 damage, you took 1300 damage. So now you can screen the extra 700 damage. That's really good in my opinion. Plus, I mean, she ults, she gives your whole team more max health. What? So, as if it wasn't good enough, she just gives your entire team more max health, which means they can take more hits, and she has more time to get a skill point back if you ran out of skill points to pop another skill, which can lead back into her ult, which can, you know, like, it's absurd, man. It's absurd, dude. And then her little Ika memo spray can contribute damage as well. Like, what? She does do it all. Like, it's crazy. I just, like, I haven't even gotten her to her best situation yet. Like, my relics on her are not the best, to be honest. And by far, she is our best healer. It's not even close. I mean, I know it's also like it's her versus Dan Hong, and, you know, our Dan Hong isn't as spec'd, right? But, dude, she's ridiculous, man. Like, we only have her at 207 speed, and she's far and away our best healer. I know we have the light cone too, but, like, dude. And then if you have Castery, she can spec into the Castery's team by taking some health mores to charge Castery's even faster, and then, you know, she heals that damage back. Like, what the frick, dude? And she's not even maxed on traces either. Like, I forgot that I haven't I wanted to just work on the rest of the Cyrene and Castery's team so we could showcase that, but I haven't even finished this yet, and she's far and away our best. It's crazy. Anyways, enough Hyacine glazing. We're gonna go to Saber / Artoria now. I mean, she's the best wind character right now. No, actually, because Anaxa is universal. Yeah, Anaxa's universalness kind of makes him a little better, but for a collab character, I think she got out strong enough. It does suck that you need her cone. I mean, it's not an absolute requirement. I think you could make her work as a free-to-play. But I'm not gonna lie, you kind of want her to have her cone. We got lucky with the cone, technically. We lost the 50-50, and then we got 2 during the guarantee, but it's the same multi. I'm pretty sure that I showed that. But we got pretty lucky on her cone. Anywho, I think she is pretty strong. I will say she probably wants Eidolons more than the other DPSs that I was talking about. At least the modern one, she kind of wants more. At least it seems like that to me, because I noticed they really say, I mean, I guess because E1 gives her more ult damage, right? And then this one just lets her pierce defense, which, you know, helpful. I want to get her to E6 before she leaves. Hopefully that's something we can do. I would love to. It kind of seems like she wants you to invest in her quite a bit, but I mean, she's a Fate character. I'm a huge Fate fan, so I'm not going to have any problems with doing that, but hopefully we can get her to E6 before she leaves. I would love to just be the Star Rail Fate guy, but we'll see. I'm going to try and use her as long as she's even remotely viable, right? But I think she does really well for what she is. I don't even think we have her optimal team with her. Like, we have her, we have Dan Hong, we have Sunday, but we're using Silverwolf instead. We're not using whoever else would be her optimal one. Who would it be for the game? It says Tribby. Yeah, we don't have Tribby set up, so, you know, considering that she's doing this well with an off support, I think that's impressive. She's hitting for like 2.2 million sometimes. I know we have her pretty invested, but you know, if you were gonna pull for this character, you were probably gonna try and get a few eidolons for her anyway. Even if you didn't, she's still gonna do you well for quite a while. None of these characters that came out during version 3 are like, you know, bad. I do think she wants a little more investment than the others, though. Also want to talk about real quick. I don't understand why they thought this was a good idea, bro. When she's E6, she gets the ult, and then she gets the ult again, because, you know, why not? Really taking Buster Looping to from FGO all the way to this version of the game, or to Star Rail, which is kind of funny, but pretty funny. And then she gets Res Pen for her ult, which is really useful. So hopefully we can get her to E6, but we'll see. Lastly, we have to talk about Sampo. I mean, he's a good free-to-play option for Dot. Is he useful outside of a free-to-play option? I'm gonna say no. But he's a silly guy, and he's kind of funny, and, you know, he's a free-to-play option. We are not gonna say that a free-to-play option for a premium team is a bad idea, because it's a good idea. We might build him because he's E6 and we don't have Hyacines yet, so we kind of might make Kafka the quote-unquote DPS until we get to that point. Maybe, it really depends on whenever they rerun a Dot character, right? Because if we can get Kafka and Black Swan, we're gonna just pick those two and we'll have a support as the third, and then we'll have whatever sustain we get, but that's to be determined later. As it stands right now, I think Sampo is a decent option. Is he the best? No, but he's an option. We're not gonna say that's bad. I mean, I don't really have much to say about him, to be honest. He's, you know, he's there if you need him. That's kind of all I have this time, though. In terms of the meta-relevant characters, though, I'm tempted to not pick Feixiao because single target hasn't been used in a while, but we might include her. We'll see how the count it goes. So firstly, we have Anaxa. That's one. You could say Blade. I'm not gonna count him though, but you could say Blade. Cerydra's technically replaceable on these teams. She's not like end all be all. Black Swan, same thing. You know what? I'm not going to include Blade or Feixiao, but we'll include Hyacine because she's just ridiculous. She is ridiculous, man. So the Anaxa, Hyacine, and Amphoreus/Saber. That's 3 characters again. Even if you don't count Hyacine because she's the sustain. That's 2 real good characters. I mean, that's still not tying with Ice, right? But because Ice is like unironically, you can't really argue it, right? It's kind of just true. But, you know, Wind got up pretty well, I'd say. I think Wind is pretty good right now. Obviously, there's varying usefulness to them, but you can, if you invest in some Wind characters, I think you'll be doing just fine. Just fine. Anywho, I think that'll have to do it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and we will be back with some Star Rail very soon. And I will see you all in the next video. Laters.